What's up, guys? The Snowman here, the final ATP event of the season coming up in a few days. It's the ATP Year-End Finals back in Turin, Italy for a second consecutive year. The 8 best players from the 2022 season doing battle. So we're going to look back on the seasons of all 8 of these men, analyze the draw, 2 groups of 4 players, and then we'll look at some head-to-head records and predict a winner. Let's take a look at this draw for the ATP Finals. As we do, a couple of quick notes. First off, we are missing the number 1 player in the world, Carlos Alcaraz. The 19-year-old had to pull out of the Paris Masters last week because of an oblique injury that'll cause him to miss about 6 weeks. Because of the Alcaraz withdrawal, this event has lost some luster, but he'll be replaced by American Taylor Fritz. The 2 alternates will be another teenager, Holger Rune, fresh off his remarkable triumph in Paris. Also Poland's Hubert Hurkacz. But getting to the draw, 4 of these gentlemen have held the number 1 ranking this year. It's a very young field of players, 6 of them aged 26 or younger. These are the 2 groups in Turin. In the green group, Rafa Nadal, the 1 seed. He's joined by the man he defeated in the French Open final, Casper Ruud. We also have Felix Auger-Aliassime and Taylor Fritz. Then in the red group, the much stronger group, especially in terms of indoor hardcourt play. This group has 3 former champions as opposed to 0 in the green group. Stefanos Tsitsipas and Daniil Medvedev. Andrei Rublev getting the real short end of the stick. And then 5-time ATP Finals champ Novak Djokovic. Next, I want to go through all 8 players and look at the highlights of their season, starting with the green group. Rafa Nadal was absolutely phenomenal this year en route to qualifying for this tournament for a 17th time. 38-6 on the year. That's the top winning percentage on tour. Just 1 loss in the majors. That was at the US Open to Francis Tiafoe. Nadal began the season with the longest winning streak of his career to begin a year, 20-0, including that epic 2-set comeback against Medvedev in the Aussie Open final. Tacked on a 14th Roland Garros title as well. And maybe his biggest accomplishment of the year, Nadal became a father in October. He's only played 1 match since then, but the 36-year-old will undoubtedly be in good spirits during this event. It's been a major breakout year for the 3-seed Casper Ruud. Yes, he qualified for the ATP Finals last year, but I feel like that was more of a product of Ruud feasting on lesser opposition, winning a bunch of 250-level tournaments. This year he's taken another giant leap. First Masters 1000 final in Miami, his first 2 major final appearances in Paris and New York. Had a chance to become number 1, but as it stands, Ruud became the highest ranked Norwegian in ATP history by surging up to number 2. He can absolutely bludgeon the ball on hard court and clay, and no player in this field is hotter than the Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime. He's the 5 seed who recently went on a 16-match winning streak, won back-to-back-to-back titles in Florence, Antwerp, and Basel. During that run in Basel, FAA became the 3rd player this year to win a title without dropping serve a single time throughout the tournament, so serving extremely well right now. Didn't have a single title before 2022. Now he's got 4, plus the ATP Cup with Team Canada at the start of the season. Auger-Aliassime also coming off the 2nd Masters 1000 semifinal of his career last week to reach a career-high ranking. The 8 seed Taylor Fritz is the beneficiary of Carlos Alcaraz withdrawing. In steps the 25-year-old who experienced some real highs this season, 42-19, 3 titles in Tokyo, Eastbourne, and his historic win at Indian Wells. Almost withdrew before that final with an ankle injury, but fought on to defeat Rafa, who was 20-0 at the time. First American to win Indian Wells since Andre Agassi in 2001. Also Fritz's first ever Masters 1000. Quarterfinals at Wimbledon was his best run at a major in 2022. Not quite able to knock off Nadal again, losing in the 5th set breaker. And as we switch over to the red group, Stefanos Tsitsipas leads the way as our 2 seed and the only man to have ever won the ATP Next Gen Finals and these ATP Finals. The Greek led the tour in total wins this season at 59. His highlight of 2022 was probably when he successfully defended his title in Monte Carlo, the 2nd Masters 1000 title of his career. Tsitsipas made the semis in Melbourne, a tough 3rd round draw at Wimbledon versus Kyrgios, and a shock 1st round loss at the US Open, but overall, Steph remains one of the most consistent players from week to week. Our 4 seed is the 2020 champion, Daniil Medvedev, the 4th consecutive year he's played in the ATP Finals. Only 2 titles for Med this year, didn't end up adding to the Grand Slam trophy cabinet despite coming oh so close in Melbourne. Medvedev can still be proud of the fact that he became the first player outside of the Big Four to reach the #1 ranking since 2004. He's also the tallest world #1 of all time at 6'6". The Russian recently picked up his 14th career title at the 500 level event in Vienna, Austria. Andrei Rublev with another stellar season, top 5 in total wins in 2022, 49 and 18. 4 singles titles, including 2 250s and the 500 level event in Dubai. The Russian is starting to make deeper inroads at the Grand Slams, quarterfinals at Roland Garros, quarters at the US Open, played one of the best matches of the year in New York, a 5-set roller coaster 3rd round win over Denis Shapovalov. Rublev is going to be happy that he's back into the ATP Finals for the 3rd straight year, hoping this time he can make it out of the group stage. And finally, a bit lower than he's used to being ranked, we have our 7th seed Novak Djokovic. He's trying to win his 6th ATP Finals title and tie Roger Federer for the most all time. One of the weirdest tennis seasons you'll ever see from Djokovic. Didn't play at the Australian Open due to visa issues, lost in the quarters of the French to Nadal, won his 21st major at Wimbledon but didn't receive any rankings points, and then didn't play at the US Open because of his unvaccinated status. So Djokovic just 360 points from the 4 majors this year. That's why he's ranked so low. Started off very rusty but won his record-extending 38th Masters 1000 in Rome, and he's been on a hot streak as of late, up to 90 career singles titles. That's 5th all-time behind Connors, Fed, Lendl, and Nadal. Now let's look at the head-to-head history of these 8 players now and see if there's anything we can discern. First off, just have to mention how absurd the 30 and 29 Djokovic-Nadal record looks next to everything else. That definitely jumps off the page for me. Secondly, Nadal is 5-1 against the young men in his group. The only loss, that aforementioned defeat to Fritz at Indian Wells, where Rafa was dealing with a rib issue. Of course, we should remember that Nadal has never won the ATP Finals in his career. It's truly one of the only big tournaments he's never conquered, along with Miami and Paris. Rafa has never had great success on indoor hard courts because of his playing style. On the other hand, Djokovic with a 9-2 record versus Tsitsipas, that seems to be a great matchup for him. Joker has advanced out of the round robin in 8 of his last 9 appearances. He just made the Paris final, so you got to figure he's going to be a favorite to advance. That makes Tsitsipas versus Medvedev all the more important. Med won the first 5 matches in their rivalry. However, Steph with 3 of the last 5, including in Cincy a couple months ago. If I had to choose who moves on to the semifinals, I'll take Ruud and FAA in the green group. Give me Djokovic and Tsitsipas in the red group. And then I guess I'll roll with the hot hand. Give me Felix Auger-Aliassime to win the 2022 ATP Finals. It's been a young guys tournament for 5 years or so since Murray won in 2016. Every champion has been 26 or younger, and Felix is serving red hot right now. Top 10 this year in hold percentage and ace percentage. He beat Djokovic at the Laver Cup, so that should give him some confidence if that's the final matchup. I like the 22-year-old Canadian to do some major damage this week in Turin. Thanks a lot for watching my ATP Year-End Finals prediction video. Please leave a comment. Let me know who you think is going to do well in Turin. Thanks a lot for watching all my tennis preview videos this year. Be sure to subscribe to the Snowman Sports Media for more tennis content and preview videos next season, and I'll see you soon. Cheers!